when I'm getting ready to anchor for the evening, what I like to do is get myself where I am going to anchor, where I plan to at least drop my anchor. And then I put the boat in neutral. I just let the current kind of move the boat around. Chad, and this is my home, a 1988 main ship that I bought out of St. Petersburg, Florida. Currently, I'm traveling on America's Great Loop, over 6,000 miles of inland waterways around the eastern and western portion of the United States of America. But I do have plans on traveling across the Gulf of Mexico, through the Panama Canal, and up to San Francisco to Alaska. So if you haven't already, hit subscribe, and that way you hit the bell notification. You'll know when I upload new videos. And look at my other videos I've posted. And if you like the videos, hit like on those videos. Thanks for watching. I'm on my trip up to New Bern, North Carolina. This is the Marine and Aquarium Center. So they got some docks here. I'll probably offload one of my boats. I'm keeping the boats up here on the front because when I put them at the back, I get soot from the diesel engines and it gets the boat all dirty. So I'll probably just jump on the kayak tomorrow, kayak over. 4LH Yanmar DTE engines, 4LH DTE engines. Each one is 170 horsepower. This boat was repowered in 2001. If you see the video here where I bought the boat, I go over some of the mechanics of the boat. This boat came with a pamphlet that, like a binder, and it had pictures with, you know, some of the repower, the Merc Cruiser gas engines that were taken out. So this boat was repowered 2001. They did quite a bit of work, new floors and all, a lot of stuff to the engine room. Anyway, we're at about 280 miles into this trip to New Bern, North Carolina. And I'm going to start getting a pre-trip on the engines. I want to just look over the hoses. I want to check these front V-belts on the engines. Those are known for stretching and wearing. So I want to take a look at those and just look over the general condition of the engines. I also went through quite a bit of debris. I want to also take a look at my sea strainers and make sure that I didn't suck leaves and stuff up, anything that's going to prohibit water, you know, from entering the engine, and any kind of restrictions like that. So that's what I'm going to take a look at now. I bought new radiator caps. So I did inspect I changed this hose here. So before I left Port LaBelle, I changed this overflow hose and to the reservoir over there. And as you can see, this motor is filled right to the top with coolant, so it's good. And then I just want to check the same, you know, on the other engine here. I want to look at the coolant here. You should be able to see it right at the top. It's right there at the top. These 4LH DTE Yanmar diesel engines, the oil check is just right here. So right next to your main oil filter there, your pre-engine oil filter, whatever you want to call it. Get a rag, wipe your dipstick, pull your dipstick out, give it a wipe. Make sure these engines aren't consuming any oil, that we have oil in the engine. So as you can see, we are A-okay. There's marks on the dipstick, just above where the oil is, so it's well within operating range. On these motors, you can check the V-belt tension just by pulling on it a little bit. And you can see if it's loose or not. This one could probably be adjusted up. It is a little bit loose. It's not loose, but it could probably be adjusted a little bit. You can see I've got these engines running. Now see, I've got some vibration in this belt. I want to tighten that belt up. I've also got a little bit of vibration in this belt. They should not be vibrating like that. So they are a little bit loose, need to be tightened up. I'm just going to do a general check, make sure nothing else is leaking on the engines that need attention before I continue on with this trip. Okay, so when adjusting these belts, you want to get on this right here first. This bottom bolt on the alternator. This is where you're going to adjust the belts on the engine. So you want to loosen up these here. There we go. Okay, start with this bottom bolt, and then you want to loosen up. This one here is a 12 millimeter. And that one I believe is a 13, but you loosen these, put some pressure on the alternator, and we'll snug this belt up. Okay, you're gonna loosen this bolt here. I can see all the belt dust. Yeah, she's been hitting. Okay. That. There. Okay, as you can see, our alternator is now loose. We're going to get some tension on it and tighten this up. Now, there's a couple ways you can do it, but I think the best way is have your wrench for your adjusting bracket right here. See this bracket that's sliding right here? I think the best thing to do is have this set up ready to go. Have it in the on position, and so it's ready just to tighten the bolt, and have that, you know, somewhere where you can easily access it. Next, we're going to use some sort of a lever, and on these motors, some people get under the alternator with a pry bar. I think what I'm going to do, though, because I can see this bracket right here, is I can maybe get in right here. I've done it before, or put see, some sort of pressure like that. But I don't see that right there. See, and now I can come back from here, pushing on this bracket like that, and tighten this up. So that's what we're gonna do. This is not very scientific. There's just not really good ways to do this. You can sometimes see, like, get under the alternator too. See, look at that. So you can also put the bar under the alternator through the bracket, and then you can just put some pressure back. And I think that's what I'm gonna do. I can get a lot more tension. I can see where this bolt was and how much snugger these belts need to be. So I'm gonna put a little bit of pressure on it. You don't wanna go crazy, because it's not gonna stay, no matter how tight you make these belts. That's why they all went to serpentine belts. No matter how tight you make this V-belt, it's not gonna stay tight. They stretch and they break. That's why you gotta carry spare belts with you. But you wanna put enough tension to where you're gonna be able to make it at least another 200 miles before you need to change it. So just doing that, like that. Now that's good and tight. So, all right. Now, keeping pressure on the alternator, however you can do it, you want to go now back to your 14 millimeter, and we're going to tighten the bottom bolt. We're now tightening all these bolts. So. Okay, there. Now I can release my lever, which I was just using this long, like torque wrench here, so, or breaker bar. Okay, I've got good. I want to tighten this bolt. Then you want to go and check all the bolts. Make sure all the bolts are tight. like that. Okay, I'm going to swap out to my 14. Or nope, that one's the 13. It's this one here. That one's a 12 millimeter. There you go, 12 millimeter on that one. Okay, that one's tight, that one's tight. Then I'm gonna check my bottom bolts. Those are the 14s, those are the big ones. Okay. Okay, that's one belt done. And well, see, that's why they went to serpentine belts on all these motors, because this is part of your periodic maintenance. You want to know what some of the maintenance on these diesel engines is? It's constantly having to adjust and inspect these belts. So just be prepared if you buy a boat that's got these V belts, you are going to have to constantly adjust these belts because they stretch and they loosen up. That's just what they do. So now I'm going to repeat the same on the other engine over here. One more thing I want to do while I'm here is change the oil. I've got some Rotella, a 5-gallon bucket, and you just a drain at the bottom. I drain it into there and dump it into this bucket up here. And you just take the cap off. And drain the oil into this right here, like that. Just spin this off. And I'm sure it's gonna leak oil all over. Okay. Okay, so I added some oil into the filter. Got the filter seal nice and wet, and got it nice and clean. I want to take a rag, clean this area, make sure the old seal's not on here. Just kind of look and check and inspect that area right there. Looks good. And throw the new filter on. When these go in sideways like this horizontal, you don't really need to fill the filter all the way up with oil. If they screw on like this kind, you can fill them all the way up with oil. But on these small motors, I mean, you could just, I like to make sure the cartridge is wet at least. And, put it on a hand tight, and then I just snug it up. Like so. Not crazy, just I snug it up, that's it. There. Just snug it on there. Okay, I'm gonna start by adding into the generator some Prolong engine treatment. This is the ultimate in protection and performance. I've never personally done a bearing test on Prolong, but I've seen the videos on YouTube, and it seems like it really helps in wear for your engine, and I'm just gonna put that right into this generator. It's you add it with your oil, and it provides a superior wear protection. It chemically bonds to the metal, is supposed to. Like I say, I've never tried it myself, but I've never done a bearing test on it myself. So if any mechanics are out there, boat yards, or want to buy Prolong, you can pick it up at AutoZone or any of the auto parts stores and do a test on it. Let me know how it works out. If you've got one of those bearing testing machines, there's videos on YouTube with plenty of those on there. So yeah, I'll throw some fresh 1540 in there and Rotella. It don't hold very much, so I definitely don't want to overfill this engine. Oh, let's see where we're at now. Okay, and dipsticks down here. Give it a wipe. This motor don't hold very much. 2.5 gallons or something like that. Well, now I'm showing it on the dipstick. So we'll get it running and make sure it works. Get it running and make sure it runs well. You can start the generator from in here by the electrical panel. You've got your temperature gauge, oil, and volts, and a quartz meter. It currently says 907 hours. How accurate that is, I really don't know, because as you can see, the generator's not running. But when this key is turned on, then the timer starts when you even just turn power on to the generator. So I don't know if it has 300 hours on it. I don't know if it has 2,000 hours on it. I just know it runs. So you can preheat the generator if you need to, if it's cold. And start it right there on that panel. Well, I'm just going to take a look at the generator. Going to take a look at the oil filter. Take a look at the oil filter, make sure there's no leaks, no drips out of anything, that the belt is good. And then I'm going to recheck the oil and make sure it's good to go. That must be Restless. There's Restless. There's a Nebo Gold AGLCA boat there. Restless. Just passing this catamaran next to me. Looks like he's got a Canadian flag up. That was a great stop over there at the mushroom, the mellow mushroom. I had to look down at the pizza box and so I could remember the name, but just cruising back over to the boat. As you can see, the boat's just right there. Well, I am running aground. You can see on the well, I don't know if you can see it with this, but I'm at Sea Haven Beach. I am in the channel, so I'm not outside of the channel or anything, but the tide is really low right now, so might have to wait for tide to come up. But I try to get the engines going a little bit. And I mean, the marker's right there. We are in the channel. We're right on the channel. Sometimes you run into spots like this where it's low. See, we're just digging a hole. You can see all the dirt there. Yeah. Well, maybe I can reverse out of it. Let's see. I'll see if I can reverse out of this and maybe just try to get the boat over to, it's low tide, this can happen. So you just get off it just a little bit and see. Okay. There we go, we're moving now. Maybe we'll try just getting over a little bit more towards the green. I mean, we're in the channel, but maybe I just need to get over a little bit more here. Let's see if we can get it moving. You just want to be careful with your transmissions. If you are starting to run aground, you want to pull your throttles down. So we'll just try to get through it here. Okay, there we go. So all the vibration is stopped. And we're running smooth. Take this cover off so you can see the gauges here. We're running smooth again, and I've got the boat going, so. You'll feel when you start running aground, you're going to feel it because the boat is going to start shaking, and you're going to watch your RPM start dropping. So, if you look at the back of your boat where the propellers are, you're going to see a lot of mud. So, if you're not going anywhere and you feel a lot of vibration and shaking, and your RPMs are dropping, and the motors stall, possibly. Look at the back of your boat. If you see a bunch of mud around your propellers, you probably just run aground. And our engine hours are at, I don't even know if we can see the engine hours with the, with all the sun. We're at 1,741 engine hours. Thank you for watching this episode. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button, hit subscribe and the bell notification. That way you'll get notified of my future videos I upload. Make sure you look at my other videos of buying this boat and some of the other trips I've already taken on it. So thanks for watching. Here is a log of my GPS data and my logs from this voyage. I went about 453 miles, purchased about 441 gallons of fuel. That's not all the fuel I burned because the boat is still full of fuel. When I fueled at New River Marina, it was only about 100 miles here to New Bern, North Carolina. And at New River Marina, they gave me a 6-pack of Blue Moon. So thank you. I'll have a drink to that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Here's my logs, my fuel purchases that you can look over at your convenience. Like I say, if you got anything out of this video and you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up button and hit subscribe. That way you'll get notified of future videos. Thanks.